kind of just talk through it and see what happens. And then just have a conversation with myself on how long I want to continue to play. I don't know the answer to that right now, to be honest. So we'll see.
That was LeBron James last night following the Lakers' elimination by the Timberwolves in 5 games. It was also the conclusion of LeBron's 22nd season in the NBA. And now the Lakers, they face an offseason of questions. Will a 40-year-old LeBron James, who has a player option, be back? Will Luka Doncic sign an extension? How can they improve this roster? Well, head coach J.J. Redick, he began to answer some of that this morning at Lakers exit interviews.
I think it's hard sometimes to admit this, and maybe this is hard sometimes for a coach or a player to admit this. We lost to a better team. I mean, that's just the reality. We did. And we put ourselves in a position to win games 3, 4, and 5, and we weren't able to do that in the fourth quarter. And that's where I think you really have to evaluate and really try to grow from as a coach and certainly as a group, whatever that group looks like next year.
Okay, Danny Green, let's take a step back. How did we get here? Well, Minnesota was a matchup nightmare for the Lakers throughout this series that ended last night in 5 games. J.J. Redick, he pulled Jackson Hayes from the starting lineup and elected to go even smaller against the supersized Timberwolves. And Rudy Gobert turned into Wilt Chamberlain in this game here. We'll show you exactly what we mean. He was a problem in this one.
Yes, very much so. The high-low, boxing out, every way, 9 dunks. They give up way too much for Rudy to look like this in this type of game.
Going ahead here to the second quarter and doing it again here.
Yep, you got a smaller guy on him. He knows he got the mismatch. Finally taking advantage of it, punishing him inside with offensive rebounds and lob dunks. Can't leave him underneath the basket wide open.
And then a few possessions later, the Lakers, they just get into a little bit of a scramble mode here. And watch, again, it's Gobert. Right now, LeBron James is on him, but then LeBron goes to help. Nobody is watching Gobert. Gobert, again, he had 15 first-half points after having only 14 total in games 1 through 4. I asked Anthony Edwards to describe Rudy Gobert's night.
Rudy was the dragon. Yeah, he was the dragon tonight, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Nah, he wasn't a dragon from Antarctica. He was a dragon from Game of Thrones tonight.
How do you not have fun watching these guys?
A lot of, they didn't shoot well from 3, so you got to do something different.
Absolutely, but Dorian Finney-Smith off of the miss here. Luka Doncic relocates. He gets that 3 to go.
That's the only way they stayed in it. Some extra 3-pointers.
This is still a game. The Lakers within 2. Dorian Finney-Smith, huge wing 3 here to put Los Angeles up by 1 here. And then less than 30 seconds left in the third. The Wolves still down 1. Anthony Edwards drives, can't get to go, but who is there?
There goes that man. It's not Anthony Edwards.
Gobert had 24 points, 16 rebounds through just 3 quarters. But we had a 1-point game headed into the fourth quarter, in large part because everyone was struggling to score. Donte DiVincenzo can't get the three.
Box out.
There's Rudy again. Rudy finished with 27 and 24 in this one. Yes, that is real. Julius Randle hits a tough floater here. An excellent series for Randle. Chipped in 23 points of his own, averaged the most points he has in a series in his playoff career. But LeBron James, he knows when it is winning time, hits that corner 3. LA back within 2. We mentioned that the Timberwolves here, they struggled to score from the outside, but right there, Anthony Edwards finishing the layup. They had missed 18 straight 3-pointers dating back to the second quarter. But the vet gets that one. The Wolves come out on top to win the series 4-1, end LeBron and the Lakers season. Here's Anthony Edwards on what that meant to him.
It means a lot. We beat the best player in the world. I'm like the best player ever, so.
When you play next to 5, like, it make the game a lot easier, you know what I mean? Because they throwing 2 or 3 people at them, so you just got to be, willing to move and be in the right spaces on the floor, and, you got to be able to take advantage of that. So, it's not a person in the world that can guard him one-on-one. So, it's, teams are throwing everything at him. And, I always tell him, go be great. But, if you need me, I'm right there for him. So,
what makes it feel even better is that they said Lakers in 5 and the Wolves won in 5. So, I think that makes it feel 10 times better. That's like my own answer.
And I love that he skipped out of the arena, reminding everybody of that as well. But the Lakers, they made the Luka Doncic trade. They gave up Anthony Davis in the process, and that dramatically changed their lineup. And we just saw how the Wolves were able to take advantage here. After failing to land Mark Williams' size, it was an issue in this series. The Lakers struggled containing Minnesota's front line, who were all at least 6'9" or taller here. And you just see the fourth quarter comparisons, how much they struggled here. Their fourth quarter struggles. The Wolves dominated in the fourth quarter the entire series, outscoring Los Angeles by 42 points across the 5 games, held them to under 30% from the floor. JJ Redick, again, he defended the decisions that he made with this following the game.
We couldn't score, so there's a trade-off to everything with this. But we obviously put ourselves in a position to be in the game 3 times in the fourth quarter and just came up short every time. But again, the offensive part of it tonight in particular was we missed wide open threes. We missed a couple shots at the rim. We got good looks.
Every season that I did not make it to the finals or did not win a championship has been a disappointment. So it'd be the same for me. It'd be the same off season of disappointment and unfulfillment. Have an opportunity to play longer and give yourself an opportunity to play for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So nothing changes for me.
Perk, why did, from the Lakers' perspective, they lose this series?
Because you heard JJ, he spoke only about offense. We missed wide open threes. We missed layups. We couldn't make a shot. Well, how about getting a stop? How about stopping Julius Randle, who had one of his best playoff series of his career on you? How about junking it up with Anthony Edwards? How about getting some rebounds? Because didn't Rudy have about 8 or 9 of them offensively yesterday? They dominated them on the glass. How about that end of the floor? That's the problem. When you talk about winning championships, it's not offense that win you championships, defense win you championships. And all the Lakers were worried about, all the substitutions, all the extended minutes was solely based on how can they be effective offensively and not enough focus on the defensive side of things.
Malika, there was a pathway for the Lakers to make a run in this postseason, but they really needed everything to go just right. And from Luka getting sick in Game 3 to injuring his back a little bit last night, to just Austin Reeves going cold, to all the minutes LeBron played that seemed to wear on him, it just didn't go right. It had nothing to do with the fact that Minnesota also played great. It just didn't go right. And this actually kind of reminds me of where the Dallas Mavericks were with Luka Doncic 2 years ago. If you remember, they made a midseason trade for Kyrie Irving. Their roster was a little bit scrambled because of it, and they had to adjust their roster. They missed the playoffs. They drafted Derek Lively. That was their rim protector. They signed Derek Jones Jr. That was a wing athlete. They subsequently traded for Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. None of those guys are superstars, but that built out the roster, and bam, the Mavericks are in the finals. The Lakers need to do that. No matter what they did this postseason, whether they had made the conference finals or whether they went out in 5 like they did here, they were going to have to make roster additions. So now that is obvious. That's what they have to do. They probably underachieved in this postseason, but them getting beat by the Wolves or any of the other playoff teams is not shocking. This team needed to be perfect, and they weren't. Right. JJ Redick said it. He said, I'm not afraid to admit that we were beat by a team that is just better than we were. So where did the Lakers go from here, Danny? When JJ said that, I don't think they were the better team. Like, they played better, yes, but I think Lakers have the better pieces. They're deeper. But yes, it was just tough to watch because they got bullied last night, and they got bullied by Rudy Gobert, out of all people. Nobody in the sports world in 2025 had that on their bingo card of Rudy Gobert bullying the Lakers. And he did it, Julius Randle did it, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, all those guys stepped up and played well. They beat them on the glass. The Minnesota Timberwolves only shot 15% from 3. So, they weren't scoring either. JJ talks about scoring. Perk is right. This defense is they couldn't rebound. They couldn't get guys off the glass. Rudy Gobert had 9 dunks. You can't give that up to Rudy Gobert. And fatigue. The fourth quarter, they got outscored 127-85. Right. They had no depth, like you said. They need more pieces. They need to find a big, but they need some depth to give those guys a break. LeBron James could not play 40-plus minutes and the whole second half. Right. We're going to have Bobby Marks joining us a little bit later in the show to lay out exactly what it is the Los Angeles Lakers can do here, Brian. But looking at what is out there, I hear you. The discourse is they need to get a center. Luka needs some... Perk, what's wrong? What's wrong, my friend?
A little frustrated there, big dog.
No, because here go the excuses, right? All season long, all I've been hearing about is the emergence of Austin Reeves, right? And I was one of them, averaging 25 and 4, right? A guy that, hey, we can't call him a role player. He's too good to be called a role player. He has really made this Lakers, Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves a big three. And then all I've been hearing about is, what an addition at the trade deadline of a pickup of Finney Smith. And then all of a sudden we come here and we like, oh, when is Vando coming back? Oh, they got Vando back into the lineup. Rui's back. He's been playing some outstanding basketball. And we get to this point where they get their ass kicked. And we come on here and talk about, and then all of a sudden they didn't have enough. They didn't have a championship caliber roster. I don't want to hear that. Before the series started, the Lakers had 3 out of the 5 best players, Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. And you can mix in Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. However order you want to put it in, the Lakers came into this series favored. They got outplayed, and it's a failed season.
Well, I don't think LeBron disagrees with you. He says it's a failed season whenever I don't make it to the finals, whenever I don't win the finals. I am curious, Brian, if it's not, I don't believe, looking at this roster, they don't believe that this was a championship roster. I hear what you're saying, Perk. But if that's not the reason, then what is?
Yeah, I mean, it's unbalanced. They traded 2 rotation players to get Luka Doncic, so you're already a deficit there, and it happened so close to the deadline they couldn't backfill. And as soon as they decided to veto the Mark Williams trade, then they were just not in position to help the roster. I mean, Mark Williams, in the 21 games he played after the trade was vetoed, averaged 15 points, 10 rebounds, and shot 62%. He stands 7'1". If you don't think it would have been a difference in this series, I don't know what to say. The Lakers gave up 38 more baskets in the paint than they scored. But the Lakers felt that Williams wasn't going to be healthy enough long term. But as soon as they made that decision, they put themselves in position to be exposed like this. And that's what happened. There could have been ways they could have gotten around it. Luka could have been amazing. He could have averaged 38 points in this series. LeBron could have been amazing. Austin Reeves was great down the stretch, but he wasn't in this series. And if things didn't all click perfectly, the Lakers were going to be in trouble, and they were in trouble in this series. And honestly, I think that's the only fair way to look at it. I don't think this team underachieved. I think they got overwhelmed, but I don't think this team underachieved. I think this was about where they belonged. They had a chance to do something special that was taken away from them by a better team.
And I think that is a microcosm of what the Western Conference is this year. 2 through 7, the talent gap there is so narrow. It just depends on how the cookie crumbles. And for right now, this went the Minnesota Timberwolves' way.
I'm on fire. It's NBA,